Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I made my way home from work today. I got a little bit of time before I got to leave to go pick up my kids from work. So I thought that what better than now to fire up something for the world of wrestling. And I was thinking of like the video I made on Sycho Sid yesterday after he passed away. What probably was one of the biggest matches. And one of my favorite matches that involves Sid isn't even because really like Sid's in the match, because the story of one of my favorite ones is a match that happened on Raw right before WrestleMania 13, and that was Bret Hart wrestling against Sid, who was the WWF champion, in a steel cage match that would have really changed the whole build for WrestleMania 13. It would have made Bret the champion. It would have made Bret versus Stone Cold the championship match. Undertaker was the number one contender to go up against Sid at WrestleMania. He cared about his match because he wanted a chance to be champion. It was a really big match, and I think I'm going to watch that one a little bit later tonight. But, a match that probably I talked about yesterday, but I don't have a whole lot of memories of, or I don't give it a lot of respect because I really just don't remember WrestleMania 13 all that much. As I'm sitting down and I'm watching the Sycho Sid versus Undertaker WrestleMania 13 main event match. Undertaker came down. They're hyping up the fact that Undertaker is wrestling in his same attire that he wrestled Jimmy Snuka in at WrestleMania. His first match, they've talked about how Sid has never lost at WrestleMania. Sid's got that awesome like pyro Sid thing hanging down in the middle of the ring. As he makes his way down, he's getting a lot of respect from the people in the crowd. I think that even though he was playing the bad guy at the time, Sid was always somebody that, I think people wanted to like and wanted to respect. I think that he just was one of those guys that was misunderstood. I guess you can say that the people thought he was doing bad things. They even got Shawn Michaels out there as an announcer. I think this is time of like Shawn lost the smile. We can go into that whole ordeal of basically. I think Shawn was supposed to lose the championship to Bret at this WrestleMania, if I remember right. And Shawn didn't want to lose to Bret, so he just vacated the championship so he just wouldn't have to do a job at the big WrestleMania show. So instead, he just Bret's making his way down to the ring. Why is Bret coming down to the ring right now? Bret's getting into the ring. Bret already had his match against Stone Cold Steve Austin. His blood is still all over the canvas, basically, from him beating Austin in the submission match that built Stone Cold Steve Austin's career, is never wanting to give up. Oh, he's making fun of Shawn Michaels at the announce table. Vince is physically holding Shawn back, who Shawn's not even trying to get up, not even trying to show any respect to Bret at all. I guess Bret versus Shawn is real at this time. He's cutting a promo on Taker. He's cutting a promo on Sid. I don't remember any of this. Sid is flat out laughing at Bret. I guess I mean I had to have seen this show somewhere along the way. I think Stone Cold versus Bret. You see that match, each and everywhere. I think that was one of the first times I saw WWE Network put up a special of just a match. Just here, we're gonna make this really easy for you to see. Probably one of the best wrestling matches that WWF's ever had, especially at that time at WrestleMania. Oh, Sid just flat out punched Bret. Now he's setting him up for the power bomb. Power bombs Bret. What? Oh, and he's selling it like crazy. That's awesome. I got no memory of this at all. Sid's now grabbing the mic. telling him to get his whining ass out of the ring. I see Pat Patterson down there trying to get Brett out of the ring. Whole bunch of refs. And hopefully now they're just going to get... There's Briscoe. There's that one guy who I saw all the time as a kid. You see that guy? There's the other Hebner. When you saw that guy come down with the weird hair, you knew business was picking up. He was like one of the first ever like backstage producers that I ever really noticed back in the day. It was like, who's that guy? I still don't know who that guy is. Undertaker just flat out jumps Sid as Sid is paying attention to Brett, and the match is on. They're beating each other up in the corner. I'm guessing that this match is gonna be pretty slow. I mean, if it's a WrestleMania main event that nobody really talks about, I think it's mainly because I always think about this WrestleMania, I always think that it's pretty bland, and maybe it's because of the fact that the Shawn Michaels isn't on it. I think that because of the Brett versus Austin submission match, I think that's one of the reasons why it saves it from being mentioned as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. People always mention WrestleMania 9 as one of the worst WrestleManias. I always give that one a lot of respect because I remember watching it as a kid, and I just loved the atmosphere of the small arena that they built there in Las Vegas. Hopefully I'll get a chance when we go there to go over there in that courtyard. And I don't know, feel the magic, I guess. There's nothing really to see. But maybe if we got some time, I can kill just by heading over there when we go to WrestleMania 41. We've got Billy Gunn and Flash Funk. That was the dark match of WrestleMania. Then we have the Headbangers who went up against Furnace and LaFron, the Godwins, the new Blackjacks in a 4-way elimination match to determine the number one contenders for the tag titles. The Rock had his first WrestleMania match with Rocky Maivia going up against the Sultan. Rocky was already the Intercontinental Champion at the time. I think after that match is when his father jumps in the ring and takes his shirt off, and they share like a moment in the ring, and The Rock's dad was just not in shape. I don't know if he just didn't get in shape or if it was a bad point in his life, but I apologize. I mean, I'm not jumping the rail at WrestleMania and ripping my shirt off. I don't know if he just should have done the pose down and not ripped the shirt off is all I'm saying. We have Triple H defeating Goldust. I'm sure that match was good. Give it some respect just because of the guys that are in it. Owen Hart and the Bulldog going up against Mankind and Vader. That was a tag title match. Seems like a main event to Monday Night Raw, honestly. Brett and Austin, no DQ submission match with Ken Shamrock as special guest referee. Easily the best match of the night. Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom going up against the Nation of Domination. That match had Farouk, Crush, and Savio Vega. I've seen that match. I think that is the match that Colt Cabana makes his WWF debut. He's not sitting front row, but he's sitting like guardrail, if that makes sense. And at one point, he just starts punching the Legion of Doom. I don't know if he did that because he just didn't like them, or he was just a big Nation of Domination fan, or he just wanted to punch somebody and thought that would be something that got him onto the show. But that is a sight to see, and it's not hard to see. If you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. And then of course this match, Undertaker versus Sycho Sid in the main event. No DQ for the WWF Championship. That was like always like the big sticking point on like a pay-per-view main event of like all of a sudden, right before the show starts, or right before it, like on the free for all, or maybe even like on the show, just right before it happens, they just say like, "Oh, the commissioner signed off for no disqualification." Pretty much all championship matches back in the day, unless they needed it because they were gonna like do a draw for the DQ, were always no DQ, and I fell for it every time. We've got Sid and Undertaker fighting behind the announce table. The announcers have scattered off. It's funny what the announce table used to be, honestly. It honestly looks like it's just a normal table that they would use for a table spot during a wrestling match. I see a card table, honestly, up against the guardrail over there. On it, there's a couple, I guess those things are for, he threw them right on the table, but it tipped over. It didn't even, didn't even break. But it looks like it just has, two monitors, the two boxes that a whole bunch of wires connect to, which I guess might be for to make the monitors work and the boxes. Now the ring guys, the guys that are wearing the old school camera suits, whatever those things were called, coveralls with the WWF on it, they're just picking the table up and turning it back over. So maybe it wasn't supposed to break because there you can see them actually putting it back together. But Sid throws Undertaker back into the ring, covers him, trying to get the pin. At this point, it's one of the few times Taker has got a title shot. I can remember that was if he got a title shot on like a Raw or something like that. I know that Raw used to always kind of be like a main guy against like a mid-carder that could take a loss and really not, fall back. I don't think Taker was ever really in the title picture. I don't know how he got this thing because we're not at the point where somebody can win the Rumble. Who even won the Rumble in 90? What year are we in? 95? Is that why I don't really remember this? Because I was a freshman. Oh, this is 97? Who won the 97 Rumble? We gotta go back a couple shows. This is the Final Four show. That has to be the one that Austin wins, and they take it away from him. They put the thing in there, and it's like Vader, Brett, has to be Sid, Brett, Austin, Vader, and Undertaker in the Four Corners elimination. So that's how they got out of that mess with Austin winning the Rumble. But he had been eliminated, but they were paying attention to wasn't it Mankind and Terry Funk fight on the outside that he was able to sneak right back in. I haven't seen that one in a while. That's a good show. That's a good Rumble right there. Sid's trying to pin Taker. But, if you really go back to it, if you go back to the 91 Survivor Series, Taker beats Hulk, and then they have the pay-per-view, which I think Survivor Series was on a Wednesday, and then they did Tuesday in Texas on Tuesday. Undertaker loses the championship, and then it gets held up. They take the title away from Hogan. You can kind of point to, was it because Hogan was trash-talking Undertaker and said that he dropped him on his head in the match, and maybe Vince believed Hogan because he was kind of like the golden goose. But, then again, they're building up to WrestleMania 8. WrestleMania 8 is when Hogan walks away. There's no way that I think that Vince lost faith in Undertaker. Undertaker never really seemed like he was somebody that was going to get released or anything like that. But, let's see. Is WrestleMania 8 Undertaker against Jake the Snake Roberts? So they're built up in the whole thing with Jake, Warrior, and Undertaker, which then leads to Undertaker and Jake with the Macho Man kind of thing, where he turns face. But I don't know. Maybe that was always the plan. We're gonna get him to buy Survivor Series for Undertaker versus Hogan. Undertaker's gonna beat Hogan. Then we're just gonna have Hogan beat Taker, but we're gonna take the title away to build up WrestleMania. Yeah, but then again, they kind of announce Hogan versus Flair, but then they changed the match because Sid turns on Hogan at that Saturday night's main event, Was that always just part of the storyline, or did they really like announce it, not really hear a buzz about Hogan versus Flair, and just thought that was gonna fall flat, so they just changed everything? Was it the Sycho Sid bitching that when he got signed to WWF, he was gonna promised a main event at WrestleMania, and that meant he wasn't going to be in the main event, and Vince had to change it for that. But then again, like, Sid gets put in, like, house show matches with Warrior. Warrior doesn't want to sell for Sid. Warrior doesn't want to sell Sid's stuff, and Sid quits. And so, in that little bit of time, like, Vince loses Sid. Vince loses Hogan, he loses this whole main event from WrestleMania, so it doesn't really make sense why Undertaker never really got put in there. But we're not done with Undertaker having like horrible matches. Like we're beyond Giant Gonzalez, but I mean even after this, he gets put like in the feud with the Executioner, a match that I just choose not to remember that well, but Terry Gordy comes out during a Buried Alive match, helps Mankind. That sets up Undertaker versus like the Executioner. They just kept on like giving him just bad feuds. I mean, Bruce Pritchard, every time he kind of talks about a pay-per-view that involves Undertaker, he forms like a public apology to the guy. Basically saying, I'm sorry. Yeah, this match here is kind of bland. It's kind of dry. All the fans I can see that are like beyond ringside are honestly looking up at the entrance. I don't know what's going on up there. If they're setting up for something, like the pyro for after the show, but they're all looking that direction. There's even people taking pictures of what's going on at the. There's not really a ramp because they just walk out, but. But Sid's got the advantage. He's had the advantage on Undertaker here most of the show. Do they have Paul Bear out there at ringside? I don't really see him as a part of this deal. We're not at the next year. He wouldn't be with Undertaker. Wow, that's funny to think. WrestleMania 14. Undertaker changes drastically with Kane, Paul Bear turning on him. That's only a year from now. That's crazy how much WWF changed just in like the one quick year right there. But Undertaker's got the advantage. He's kind of holding on to Sid's hair, putting like a nerve hold on his shoulder. He's got to pick him up and give him the choke slam. He's got already the tombstone. At this point, Vince hadn't taken that away from him. He still uses it every once in a while for really big matches, but dropping people on their head was really not kind of looked at that well. Sid's trying to get up, trying to find a way, but all Undertaker's doing is really just grabbing onto his shoulder. Like, he's just pinching the nerve right here. Kind of weird to see like that, just like kind of a nerve hold. That was probably a good 2 minutes right there. That's all they were really doing. This is 90. What year? I said 97. Yeah, 97. This slow main event. There's blood all over that apron from Austin, just dripping like crazy during that submission match. They're rolling around in it right now. I mean, it's dried up. It's part of the mat, but it's still they're rolling around it there. Then no new apron. I guess they did no plans of making an Undertaker plaque for this year. They both just big booted themselves into the face. And is that Tim White in there as the ref, giving him the count? Sean's still on the announce team? No, that's Hebner. I don't know why I thought it was Tim White, but yeah, that's Hebner inside of the ring. Sid's up. He's going to get on top of Taker, lift up the leg. 1, 2, kick out. Not really eventful. Not really eventful at all. You're looking at the crowd to see the crowd that's fired up. Crowd, main event match of WrestleMania, are looking up at the TV, like the big screen above the ring, and seeing themselves on TV and waving at themselves. I never really, if you want to wave to somebody at home, why wouldn't you just do this? But instead they want to see themselves do it. So they're looking up here, so that's what the people at home are seeing. Sid's up on the second rope. Undertaker's getting up, jump off, boom. Club to the back of the head. Undertaker's down. I was going to hit the button to see how much longer this match is, but Peacock is so sensitive. You hit the thing and all of a sudden an ad pops up. Or something like that when you're watching the old school WWF stuff. Just let it play through. Somewhere here, Sid has to make a mistake. I'll tell you the truth, man. We're watching this match because of the fact that, Sid passed away, and I was trying to think of like a big moment for a big match to watch. Talk about how, big and bad Sid was. This match just, it ain't good. That's just really kind of like the best way to put it. If you're watching like the best of Sid matches, this isn't one that I would highly recommend to you. I guess you can say. You go back to those old days when Sid was breaking in as a part of the Skyscrapers in '89 and '91 with Dan Spivey. That was some of the coolest stuff. Teddy Long is the referee. I'm sorry, not the referee. Teddy Long became a referee, but at that time, he was the manager, and they both, had the big, huge power bombs, and they didn't have like a huge run, but Sid ends up getting injured, and then he ends up getting replaced by the Undertaker. If you really think about it, that's Mean Mark Callis. Came in and replaced them. From there, Sid joins the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair. He makes the jump after Super Brawl 1 to WWF in 1991 that he was with till 1992. I think Vince really thought he was going to be the next Hulk Hogan, and he came in right at the right time. That I think he could have got got over with the WWF crowd in 1991 as a big baby face, and if Hogan would have really went out in '92 the way he did, I think that he could have had like kind of like a Lex Luger run where Lex Luger was like Mr. America, riding on the bus. That really could have been Sid's run. But he said that he quit because he wouldn't sell for the Ultimate Warrior. A lot of people point to that as like Sid wanted to go play softball and be a professional softball player. Some people said that after WrestleMania 8, Sid failed the drug test, which put him into sort of like bad standing. That's one of the reasons why he left, but he ended up getting back into WCW in 1993, going up against Van Hammer at Slamboree. Then we have the Sting's team in War Games, when it was Sting, Davey Boy Smith, Dustin Rhodes, and the Shockmaster going up against Sid, Vader, and Harlem Heat. That's not like one of my favorite War Games matches that I go to, but it is a pretty good one. Then of course they have the whole Sid and Vader team going up against Sting and Davey Boy where the boat explodes. Undertaker and Sid fighting on the outside. Crowd. Oh, Brett's back. Hits Sid with a steel chair. He's hit him twice. And Pat Patterson's trying to get him out of there. The guy's name is like Renee something. Whenever you saw that guy, like on Superstars, you knew something was really going down. Like when the Warrior got trapped inside of there. But Bret's in the ring again. Trying to get mad. They're chasing him off. Undertaker's now picked up Sid. Bashed him into the ring post twice. Bad guy Bret. We're not yet at Canadian Bret. But Taker circling around on Sid. Kind of reminds me of the All In that just happened. They had two different matches end with people making run-ins. There's the choke slam on Sid in the middle of the ring. Taker's going to fall on him. 1, 2. Oh, Sid kicked out. I really thought that was the finish. Bret coming out there for a second time with the steel chair, hitting Sid with it. It's probably the biggest pop and the most these fans have got into the match. Undertaker just dove at Sid and missed. Now Sid's got the advantage. He's standing over Taker, picking him up by the hair. We get a power bomb. Taker's got to reverse this. He's got to. Nope. Now Bret's back. Bret's in the ring for a third time. Just add him to the match. A stunner into the ropes. Now we've picked Sid up. It's tombstone time. I think all the fans know that this is going to be it. He hit it. 1. Bret's out there but not getting in. 3. That was like the longest 2 to a 3. I was like 1, 2. All right. Taker is the champ. We're ending WrestleMania. The fans seem pumped. I think they're just happy to go home. See a lot of people holding up foam WWF championships. At that time, the foam WWF championship didn't even look like the Winged Eagle belt. I don't know what they were selling. I don't know if basically whoever was making them just wanted to use their own mold or something like that. But there's fans up in the cheap seats holding the Undertaker signs. The guy in the USA Hockey jersey. I want that jersey right there. That's a fan right there. He was pumped. He was cheering. Undertaker's holding the belt up. It's not about you, bud. But that's Sid. So Sid's probably biggest match of his career. I mean, he would go on to win the championship in the dog days of WCW. He's believable. I don't really remember any big matches that he had in those years, but I'm sure there was a lot of shows that I saw. After that, in 97, after WrestleMania, at the King of the Ring, it was Sid and the Legion of Doom going up against the Hart Foundation. And what happens here? He had a neck surgery in July that forced him to miss SummerSlam, that he was supposed to wrestle a match against Vader that was promoted. He wrestled in the Independence in 98, Mexico 99, showed up in ECW in 99, and then he joined as the Millennium Man. He came into Nitro in WCW and wrestled until 2001. So that's kind of how he finishes out his career from here. But, there's been a lot of WrestleManias. There's been 41 of them to date. Not many people can say they went into WrestleMania and won the championship. Not many people can say they wrestled in the main event. Sid did. Now the fact he's not a WWE Hall of Famer, and how maybe they'll put him in after this, but how he didn't get to even acknowledge his career, that he was respected and beloved. I don't get it. So, Taker wins. Sid, hope you get your call someday. Peace out.